Hi everybody, this is Anne. A typical berry bowl colander is a bowl-style strainer with holes in the bottom for rinsing fruit. My hubby Xiem asked if I could design a strainer where he could soak the fruit to give it a more thorough cleaning, then strain the liquid out of the top of the container. I liked the theory of it, but was a little skeptical as I knew there'd be some challenges to making something like this as an easy hand-building project. I'm excited to show you what I came up with. I approached this challenge using these 6 template pieces. I'll make these available for you. Check out the link in the description section. I rolled out a 1/4-inch slab and ribbed it smooth. I cut 1 of each template piece with an X-Acto knife, except the side template, which I cut 2 of. The pieces will fit together like this. Very importantly, I let the slabs dry to leather hard, except the 2 odd-shaped pieces. They need to be still a little bit flexible. A bevel cutter is one of my favorite tools. I use the 45-degree angled side to bevel all 4 sides of the bottom slab piece. Remember to save all the trimmings. You may need to put them under a piece of plastic to keep them damp. I scored all 4 of the beveled edges. Next, I'll bevel the front piece. In conjunction to the bottom slab, the 2 short sides of the 2 slabs will fit together. So I'll need to bevel down the long side, then the connecting short side, then up the back the other long side. The narrow edge of the back piece will fit along the opposite widest side of the bottom slab. So I need to bevel the adjoining side edge, then along the bottom and back up the other adjoining side edge. The side pieces have an angled corner which needs to line up with the top edge of the back template piece. Then I can start beveling, starting from the squared corner, then along the connecting bottom edge and back up the angled corner. Now I left my trimmings out for the video so you can remember to save them, but remember to place them in plastic to keep them from drying out. The second side piece will be lined up to the bottom piece as a mirror of the one that we just finished, where we'll make bevels along the front squared corner, the bottom connecting side, and then back up to the angled edge. I then scored all the remaining beveled edges. I chose to do the construction on a wooden bat. It was bigger than my banding wheel, and I could still turn it around easily to work on all sides. I placed the bottom template down first. Now I can connect the back piece. I lined up the bottom edges, then slipped one of the edges with a paintbrush and pushed the scored edges firmly together. I wet one of the trimming strips and wedged it between the slabs, really pushing it in to seal the seams. As the strip already has a triangular shape, it fits in between them perfectly. As the pieces are leather hard, the back piece should be able to stand upright with no problems. Working my way around, I'll connect the side piece. Again, I slipped 1/2 of the connecting sides, then pressed them together so the angles fit as tight as I could get them. That angled edge won't allow for a perfect 45-degree angle fit, but I'll make that up by using the trimming in all the seams. I wet the first trimming and fit that along the side. I also sealed the bottom edge. I connected the other side piece in the exact same way, making sure to seal each seam with the trimming strips. Finally, I added the front side of the piece and connected it like the previous steps. One tip is to work the trimming up from the side seam and along the top rim as well to really seal the connection. Really work the clay in along the seam to make it flush with the top. Now here's what it should look like so far with all the edges sealed and the angles straight. I want to put a top piece along the front edge for straining the liquid out. I thought rounding that top edge would add some space at the top of the container for loading, discarding, and straining. So I'll round the piece on a thick piece of foam. I wet my thumb and pushed down along the middle section of the slab, stretching the clay so the sides turned upward in a U shape and the shorter front edge curled upward too. I need the piece to sit flat on the rim, so using wet fingers, I'm starting to shape those squared off edges downward. You can see them start to change directions from pointing outward to pointing straight down. I'll still need to work the front edge downward as well once I start to connect everything. I scored the 3 connecting edges of that top piece. I marked where the top will fit, then scored the top edge of that container. I slipped the top rim of the container where it will connect. I lined up the top with the container and then started connecting the sides really well, working the clay down over the rim. The front edge still needed to be stretched out just a little more to fit, so I worked the clay from the top piece downward, stretching it to fit right along that front rim. At the same time, I was making sure the arc of the piece was symmetrical and fit right to the rim along the outer and inside of the piece. I wet another trimming strip and worked that into the inner seam of the piece along all 3 sides. Once the inner seam was reinforced with the trimmings, I went over the outer seam with a red rib, making sure to make the connections tight and sharp. Now I have a really cool bull nose along the front. I thought adding a spout along the back would open a space up so you can easily empty the container when the fruit is clean. Again, using the foam and a wet thumb, I gently stretched the center of the petal-shaped piece so the ends would curl upward. I placed this along the back edge so the corners were flush with the rim. I also made sure that it was centered and symmetrical. I gently marked the bottom edge with my needle tool. I created one more mark 1/4 inches above the one that I just made. That's where the inner edge of the spout piece will fit along the container. Using an X-Acto knife, I sliced the clay away from that back wall. Notice that the edges of the spout still need to turn downward to butt up correctly with the container edge, so I work the edges down with my fingers like I did with the bullnose. I put it in place to make sure that I had the correct angle. I removed it, then scored the edge of the spout. I also scored the edge of the container. I slipped 1/2 of the seam, then connected the 2 pieces together. Again, I used a trimming strip to seal the seam along the inside. For an even tighter seal, I used a strip underneath the spout as well. I used a red rib to smooth down the edges on the inside so it was soft for the fruit to slide over. To make the holes, this hole punch is perfect for the job. I like the holes to be symmetrical, so I first line them up on the sides along the top, then put one in the middle. The next row is centered between those first holes. On this piece, I wanted holes along the top upper edge too. I thought a handle at the top would be the most comfortable way to grip and manipulate the strainer, so I used this diamond core handle cutting tool and slid it along the flat part of my clay block. It makes a wonderful handle blank. I cut the handle to fit along the rim, then firmly scored, slipped, and attached it. I found that I needed one more grip to hold the container steady at the angle which I needed it to be, so I pulled one more handle blank. I wet the top a bit to make the clay more pliable. I slowly began to bend the handle, wetting the top as I went, making sure it didn't try and crack on me. I bent it so the ends were touching. This will become the knob, so I cut away the tails of the handle blank so I had about an inch of folded clay. When it stiffens up a bit, I'll score, slip, and connect it in place along either side of the container depending on what's comfortable for you to grip it. Now here's a piece I made earlier and decorated. That spout really gives you a little extra room for both filling the container and emptying it out after washing, while the handle remains functional but out of the way. When tilted forward, the water can empty out without losing any of the fruit in the sink. Now here it is, all glazed and fired. I bisque fired it to cone 04, I glazed it, then fired it to cone 5 with an 8-minute hold. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of this project and how you would have approached the challenge. Thanks to all the newest members of our Little Street Pottery Research Facility team. If you'd like to become part of the team, follow the link to buy me a coffee or press the Super Thanks button. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time in the studio.